At the start of the pandemic, he was dubbed a hero for his hands-on approach and daily appearances on Ask the Experts, a Government of Belize Facebook program designed to explain the COVID pandemic and to answer medical questions submitted in real time from members of the public. But then, in December of 2020, the same disease that Dr. Marvin Manzanero tried so hard to protect Belizeans from catching caught him. Despite the meticulous measures he took, wearing 2 masks, keeping physical distance from people, and constantly sanitizing his hands.
I do recall my first symptom just being an itchy throat, so to speak, on a Friday, and just general fatigue. But then I had been fatigued for many days, so I didn't think that that was out of the norm.
Manzanero said he immediately isolated himself from his family, and after that weekend, he went to take a COVID test. The result came back positive, and 1 week after diagnosis, more severe symptoms took over.
I was suddenly under the shower, felt like I was gasping for air. That had never happened to me before. I was very short of breath, very suddenly. In the shower, in the bathroom, there is a mirror, and I remember staring at myself in the mirror and realizing that I was in trouble. I felt that I was looking at the face of somebody who's having a myocardial infarction, like when I'm on the doctor's end. I call it the face of death. I felt I was really, really sick.
By the following day, his heart was racing, he said, and the results of a CT scan on his lungs were very telling. He needed urgent hospitalization and then transferred to Belize City for tertiary level care.
When you see the CAT scan and realize that as a clinician, you understand what you're looking at, and that things, I mean, when you go in an ambulance from the Western Regional to Belize City, you realize that you might not be coming back alive, and you are very much aware of that. You don't get to say goodbye to anybody.
Once inside the COVID ward, Manzanero said he kept close tabs on his 2 sons.
I took a photo every day, usually around the same time, all the days I was in the hospital, trying to have a happy face, trying to comb my hair, look presentable, if you will, so that I could send it to him. I had been going to work, sometimes leaving before they were awake because I would leave very early. When I came home, they were already asleep. The Sunday that I was in the hospital exchanging messages with him, I probably had talked with him or communicated with him more than I had done for weeks or months before I became ill, simply because of I was always at work.
And then, in the throes of his battle with COVID, the mental anguish kicked in when his 10-year-old messaged him and asked a question he could not answer.
One message that stuck with me and I didn't respond was when he asked me, when are you coming home? And I realized that I didn't have an answer. And his next message, because I didn't respond, was, Daddy, are you there? What are you doing? And my response, because I just reviewed that text, I still go back and review it maybe once a week at least, because it teaches you something every time you read it. Was that I was doing breathing exercises, and I took a photo of me doing the breathing exercise.
Manzanero did have to do breathing exercises to rehabilitate his lungs that were severely compromised by the disease. And after spending 7 days and shedding 18 pounds, he was released, having overcome the worst of the attack. In retrospect, Manzanero told us that he realized the time he had sacrificed away from his 2 boys for the sake of work was something nothing and no one could replace, and that the time he does have with them now is immeasurable.
That is something that nobody is going to be able to pay you back. I mean, it has no monetary value. All the time lost, if you will, that's not going to go. That's not going to come back. So I think that puts you down to the human level.
But what was almost superhuman was he still kept on with his studies for a Master's of Science degree in Global Bioethics with a Mexican university. He felt philosophy and medical ethics were weak areas of certification in Belize. It had been his ambition to pursue these for a decade before his illness.
The days after I was diagnosed, since I was really not doing anything, just confined to one bedroom, if you will, I still was handing in my assignments. That Saturday, I was due to hand it in, the assignment that's a weekly one. I didn't because I was on my way to the ICU. They asked me if I was going to be requiring any kind of, follow up. Eventually, if I was going to, and I said no, I want to keep ahead.
He did keep ahead, and in June, he successfully completed his master's program, for which he will receive certification in December. Notably, 1 year after COVID almost broke his stride. But until then, he still struggles every day trying to perform little challenges like climbing a flight of stairs while still struggling to return his health close to, if not where it was before, when a Marvin Manzanero, known for his endurance and stamina in long-distance marathons, starred. Remarkably, again, the fighter in him presses on.
I am able to run 3 miles now. I hope
Even
that
better.
yeah, I hope to enroll for the Placencia marathon in December, half marathon. Even if I walk, that is going to be there.
Marion Ali for News 5.